civil war in Sudan has now been raging for 2 years. Despite leading to the world's largest humanitarian crisis, it's a conflict that has garnered only sporadic attention. ODN has followed the situation in the African nation since clashes broke out on the streets of Khartoum back in April 2023. Since then, the country has been split in two, with Sudan's 51 million people trapped between the opposing government army and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, or RSF. In this video, we take a look back at our coverage of the civil war from the very beginning, and its devastating impact on the population.
We have been hearing non-stop gunfire and different sources of it, more like bombing sounds and so on. And for a couple of hours, we were hearing jet fighters flying over our houses and also carrying out airstrikes.
These are just some of the current violent scenes as fighting continues in Sudan. It's between opposing branches of the military, which threatens the stability of the entire country, with at least 400 civilians being confirmed dead at the time of writing. Fighting follows increased tension between the leaders of Sudan's army and a rival paramilitary group called the Rapid Support Forces, or RSF for short. Even a 3-day truce over Eid failed, with gunfire continuing. But why are these factions fighting, and why is there such an international focus? To give some background, Sudan is a large country located in northeastern Africa. The country has a long and complex history, but in recent years it has been characterized by political instability, economic hardship, and social unrest. In 2019, Sudan's longtime dictator Omar al-Bashir was ousted from power by a popular uprising.
I, the Defence Minister and head of the Security Committee, announced the uprooting of this regime and am arresting its head, al-Bashir, who is being kept in a safe location.
This led to the formation of a transitional government, which was supposed to guide the country towards democracy and stability. However, the transitional government has faced numerous challenges, including economic collapse, ethnic and religious tensions, and ongoing regional violence. In October 2021, a coup took place which saw the military seize power from the civilian government. The coup sparked widespread protests and a violent crackdown by security forces. Since then, the situation in Sudan has deteriorated rapidly, with clashes between protesters and security forces and between different factions vying for power. Now, let's take a look at some data that can help illustrate the current situation in the country. According to the United Nations, at least 1,000 people have been killed and thousands more injured since the coup in 2021. The World Food Programme estimates that 17 million people in Sudan are in need of humanitarian assistance due to conflict, economic hardship, and other factors. The inflation rate in Sudan is currently over 400%, making it one of the highest in the world. This has led to widespread food and fuel shortages, which have further exacerbated the humanitarian crisis. The conflict in Darfur, which has been ongoing since 2003, has displaced over 2 million people and resulted in the deaths of tens of thousands. Aside from this, Sudan is of interest geopolitically to a number of nations, including its Arab neighbours, the US, and Russia. Russia desires a strategic naval base on the Red Sea, something their Washington counterparts naturally oppose, as they seek to ensure there is no return to the days when terrorist groups such as al-Qaeda were hosted in the country. Saudi Arabia have developed relations with Sudan following al-Bashir's ousting in 2019. The Saudis convinced Sudan to send military support to join its side in the Yemen civil war. We can see that a great number of external factors are adding pressure to an already volatile situation. This will mean further growing pains for whichever government is in place.
بقدر شنو اطلع برا لكن يلا كشوا ديك واحدة مضروبة.
Since yesterday, we've been conducting a large-scale evacuation of British nationals. We have some of the largest numbers of British nationals on the ground, and rightly, and I'm sure the whole House will agree with me, that it is reasonable, legal and fair to prioritise those most vulnerable families, particularly those with elderly people in them, medical conditions, but also children.
The Sudanese general's bloody war for power has pushed the population of Sudan to a breaking point. After days of being trapped inside by the fighting, these residents in Khartoum try to make the most out of the brief and uncertain ceasefire. They queue for food and water at bakeries and grocery stores that have not been looted or destroyed, but they are quickly running out of resources.
الناس المقلوب على امرهم، الناس واقفه في صف الرغيف، واقفه في صف البنزين، وقود ما في، عيش ما في، مويه ما في، الامن غير مستتب، الوضع متردي جدا في المرافق الصحيه.
More than 500 people, including civilians and combatants, have been killed since the fighting started on the 15th of April. This is the house of Awatif Abdullah, mother of 5 that was killed by shrapnel from shelling.
والله مجرد ما مسكت الماسورة دي كده اتوضى سمعت ضربة عنيفة خليت وقفت من الوضوء. الضربة هنا في العمارة بتاع جيراننا دي ولاد اخونا حسن الشيخ رحمة الله عليه ضربت يعني عملت خرم كبير جدا في العمارة، ولكن الحمد لله ما كان في زور يعني في اللحظة دي نهائي. فضرب الشقة بتاعت هنا دي كلها انتهت من الضربات دي. بعد الرايش جاء الرايش ده طوال خش عليه ما مشى على المطبخ ضربه في قلوبه. البيت كوره قالت لي ابوي وامي وقعت من جيت لقيت الشهد في يعني اللحظات الاخيره. قالت توفى طوال في اللحظه دي.
Explosions and gunfires can still be heard in the city, while others join the thousands that have made it out of the country in recent days. They are leaving behind a country that is being shuttered. Electricity is cut off across much of the capital and other cities, and many hospitals have shut down.
And the simple truth is that we are, in this council and in the world, as we see increasing reports, in peril of allowing history to repeat itself. The same miserable history that compelled this council in 2005 to refer this Darfur situation to the ICC. We are, by any analysis, not on the precipice of a human catastrophe, but in the very midst of one.
Sudan's history has been marked by a series of ethnic tensions, religious disputes, and armed conflicts over valuable resources. These events have shaped the nation's trajectory and left a profound impact on its people. Since gaining independence in 1956, Sudan has faced a turbulent political landscape, characterized by frequent military coups. In fact, more than 15 coups have taken place in the country's history. The military has predominantly ruled Sudan with intermittent periods of democratic parliamentary rule. But what about the current situation? Well, in 2023, violent clashes erupted between the Sudanese armed forces, known as the SAF, and the paramilitary rapid support forces, known as the RSF. Resulting conflict resulted in the displacement of over 3 million people, including internally displaced people and refugees. The repercussions of these conflicts were so severe that a vast majority of Sudanese civilians were forced to seek refuge in the neighbouring country of Chad. In fact, according to the United Nations, the majority of these displaced individuals find themselves in the country, desperately seeking safety and shelter.
We estimate now, UNHCR and the government, that some 100,000 have already crossed. Today we are here doing a food distribution where we will give them a minimum ration for 1 month. They are mainly women and children, as you can see. They really need shelters. They're coming with nothing. We cannot leave the government of Chad responding alone to that response.
In the roads, they took us everything, money, food, clothes, and even they killed, the relatives and the friends, That was a difficult time.
Since the killing of the governor of El Janina, we have a massive influx that is not stopping. And now you have every day, the number keeps changing, of course, but you have a massive influx.
أنا طبعا جيت من الجنينة من شهر 6 يوم 20 وأنا عيانة وحاملة وبنتي دقات وعيانة طبعا حاصل شنو ما عرفت جناية عنده استفراغ وإسهال قريب مدة شهرين ماشي ما واقف له وده كمان عنده وجع عيون ما لقى العافية.
وفعلا يعني المشاكل بتاعت اللجوء والكلام الكثير ده خلت الامهات يعني بقت مشكله بتاعت التغذيه في حد ذات الاطفال فبيجونا مشاكل كثير جدا وحسي يعني عندنا تقريبا ما كميه كثيره لكن كميه مناسبه من ناس المالنيوتريشن دي فيها حتى الان ففعلا دايرين يعني اول حاجه وقايه من المالنيوتريشن دي لان دي بتحقق لنا كميه كبيره من الحالات اللي بتجينا في المقدمه، فاحنا هسه دايرين الوقايه بصوره كويسه المفترض يكون. اضافه لذلك اي بيشنت جاتنا بمال نيوتريشن المفترض يكون في علاجاتها كامل. هسه تقريبا ما في علاج كامل كده بالنسبه لمال نيوتريشن هنا.
ويجعل القوات المسلحة السودانية تتعامل بكفاءة في صد
Rapper Macklemore recently cancelled an upcoming concert in Dubai. He says it's because of the United Arab Emirates' role in Sudan's ongoing civil war. The UAE has been accused of supplying arms to Sudan's paramilitary rapid support forces, known as the RSF. While the UAE denies these claims, calling them baseless, evidence from the United Nations experts suggests that weapons have been shipped from the Emirates to the RSF, with reports of multiple shipments each week from northern Chad. So why is the UAE involved? Experts say it's all about access to Sudan's vast resources, especially land, minerals, and agriculture. The UAE has long invested in Sudanese farmland, securing food and water resources. Their interest in Sudan's strategic Red Sea coastline is also a factor crucial for trade and military influence. Some have suggested that the Rapid Support Forces are the UAE's hand in the region. But support from the RSF has intensified and prolonged the conflict, making peace efforts even more difficult. The war in Sudan has been raging for over a year now. It started when tensions between the Sudanese military and the RSF escalated into a full-blown conflict. Fighting first broke out in Khartoum, the capital, and quickly spread to other regions, including Darfur. So far, over 18,000 people have been killed and millions have been displaced. The humanitarian crisis is dire, with millions at risk of famine and a lack of access to basic necessities. The RSF, originally formed from the Janjaweed militias, has been accused of heinous crimes, including genocide. The UAE's involvement is seen as a way to secure its interest in Sudan, despite the massive human cost. International calls for a ceasefire and peace talks have so far been unsuccessful, but Macklemore's decision to cancel his concert has brought renewed attention to the crisis. Activists are now urging more artists to boycott the UAE in solidarity with the people of Sudan.
Thank you.